Spain took 44 years to even reach a World Cup semi-final. Then, in just 4 years, they won a European Championship, a World Cup, and another European Championship. The greatest 4-year dynasty in football history. Tiki-Taka perfection. Then, it all fell apart immediately. This is the story of Spain at the World Cup. From decades as the perennial underachievers who choked in every big tournament, to becoming the most dominant team on the planet, to crashing out in the group stage as defending champions just 4 years later. How did they go from chokers to legends to disaster so quickly? What made Tiki-Taka unstoppable, and why did it stop working? Before we dive in, smash that subscribe button, because we're covering all 48 teams before the 2026 World Cup. And Spain's transformation from underachievers to world champions is one of the most dramatic stories in football history. Stick around till the end because we'll talk about whether Spain can ever recreate that golden era. And if you love World Cup history, check out our videos on Brazil, Germany, and Argentina. But fair warning, Spain's story might be the most shocking transformation of them all. Let's get into it. Let's start with something that shocks people. For 50 years, Spain was known as the biggest underachievers in international football. Talented players, strong clubs, but they choked in every major tournament. They were the team that was always going to do something special this time, and then didn't. Spain's World Cup history starts in 1950 in Brazil. They finished fourth in their group and went home early. Nothing special. In 1962 in Chile, they reached the group stage and went home. In 1966 in England, group stage exit. Nothing. But here's where it gets interesting, or rather disappointing. In the 1950s, Spain had incredible clubs. Real Madrid was dominating Europe, winning 5 European Cups in a row with legends like Di Stefano and Puskas. Barcelona had amazing players. Spanish clubs were the best in the world. But the national team? Mediocre. They couldn't translate club success to international glory. It became a pattern. Great clubs, disappointing national team. Spain was the team with talent that never delivered when it mattered. 1978 in Argentina. Spain went to the World Cup with high hopes. They had a decent squad. And what happened? Group stage exit. Again. 1982. They were hosting the World Cup in Spain. Home tournament. This was their chance. Second group stage exit. Humiliating on home soil. Italy won that tournament. Spain crashed out at home. 1986 Mexico. Quarter-finals. Finally, some progress. They reached the quarters and faced Belgium. Lost on penalties. Another quarter-final exit. Another failure to go further. 1990 Italia. Round of 16. Lost to Yugoslavia. 1994 USA. Quarter-finals. Lost to Italy. 1998 France. Round of 16. Lost to Nigeria on penalties. 2002 Korea Japan. Quarter-finals. Lost to South Korea. With very controversial refereeing, but that's another story. 2006 Germany. Round of 16. Lost to France. Do you see the pattern? For 56 years from 1950 to 2006, Spain never reached a World Cup semi-final. Not once. They'd show up with talented squads. Everyone would say, this could be Spain's year. And then they'd choke. Quarter-finals at best, usually earlier. They became known as the Perennial Underachievers. The frustration was massive. Spanish fans would watch Real Madrid and Barcelona dominate Europe, and then watch their national team lose to lesser opponents in the World Cup. It was torture, talent without trophies, potential without delivery. And then Euro 2008 happened. And everything changed. Austria and Switzerland 2008, the European Championship. Spain arrived with, surprise, surprise, a talented squad. Xavi, Iniesta, David Villa, Fernando Torres, Casillas. World-class players everywhere. But nobody expected them to win. Why would they? They always choked, but this time felt different. Luis Aragonés was the manager. He had implemented a possession-based style, keep the ball, pass, move, tire opponents out. It wasn't called Tiki-Taka yet, but it was coming. Spain topped their group with wins over Russia, Sweden and Greece. Then in the quarter-finals, they faced Italy, the team that had eliminated them so many times before. Penalties, Spain's nightmare scenario. But this time, they won the shootout. They beat Italy on penalties. The curse was breaking. Semi-finals against Russia. Spain won 3-0. They were in a final. Spain was in a major tournament final for the first time in forever. Well, since 1984. But still, 24 years since their last final. The final was against Germany. A powerful German team. Could Spain finally win a major trophy? Could they finally deliver on all that talent? Fernando Torres scored in the 33rd minute. 1-0 Spain. And they held on. They beat Germany 1-0. Spain were European champions. For the first time since 1964. 44 years since their last major trophy. The curse was broken. Spain had finally won. The underachievers had delivered. Spanish fans couldn't believe it. After decades of choking, they'd actually won something. But here's the thing. Euro 2008 wasn't just about winning. It was about how they won. The possession football, the passing triangles, Xavi and Iniesta controlling games. It was beautiful. It was effective. And it was about to become the most dominant style in world football. The World Cup was coming in 2010, and Spain was about to shock the world. South Africa 2010. Spain arrived as European champions. Expectations were high. Could they win the World Cup? Could they prove Euro 2008 wasn't a fluke? The opening match was against Switzerland, and Spain lost 1-0. Switzerland. Spain, the European champions, the favourites, lost their opening match to Switzerland. The doubts came flooding back. Here we go again, Spain choking. They'll crash out in the groups, but Spain didn't panic. They regrouped. They beat Honduras 2-0. They beat Chile 2-1. They topped their group. They were through. The Switzerland loss? Just a blip. Round of 16 Portugal. Cristiano Ronaldo versus Spain. A tight, tense match. David Villa scored. 1-0 Spain. Through to the quarters. Quarter-finals Paraguay. Another tight match. Villa scored again. 1-0 Spain. Through to the semi-finals. Spain were in a World Cup semi-final for the first time ever. 56 years of trying, and they finally made it. The semi-final was against Germany, a rematch of the Euro 2008 final. Could Spain beat them again? The match was tight, cagey, neither team scoring. Then in the 73rd minute, Carles Puyol, the captain, the defender, scored a header from a corner. 1-0 Spain. They held on. They were in the final. Spain, World Cup final. For the first time in their history. Against the Netherlands, another team that had never won a World Cup. One of these cursed nations was about to break through. July 11th, 2010. Soccer City, Johannesburg. Spain versus Netherlands. World Cup final. And this match was brutal. The Dutch played physical, aggressive football. They were kicking Spain off the pitch. Nigel de Jong's infamous kung fu kick on Xabi Alonso should have been a red card, but wasn't. The ref Howard Webb was losing control. It was more of a battle than a football match. 90 minutes, 0-0. The Dutch physicality was disrupting Spain's Tiki-Taka. Extra time. Could Spain break through? Then in the 116th minute, 4 minutes from penalties, Cesc Fabregas played a pass to Andrés Iniesta. Iniesta took a touch and smashed it into the far corner with his right foot. Goal, 1-0 Spain. 4 minutes left. The Netherlands pushed desperately for an equaliser, but Spain held on. The final whistle blew. Spain were world champions for the first time ever. After 56 years of underachieving, after decades of choking, after all the disappointment, Spain had won the World Cup. Iniesta ripped off his shirt, revealing a message for his late friend, Dani Jarque. Iker Casillas lifted the trophy. Xavi, Iniesta, Villa, Puyol, world champions. Spain had done it. But it wasn't just that they won, it was how they won. The possession football, Tiki-Taka. Spain would complete over 700 passes per match. They'd suffocate opponents with possession. Pass, 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 move, until they found an opening. It was beautiful. It was effective. It was revolutionary. Spain had gone from underachievers to world champions, and they weren't done yet. Poland and Ukraine. 2012. The European Championship. Spain arrived as world champions and defending European champions. Could they win a third major tournament in a row? Could they complete the most dominant run in football history? The answer, yes. Emphatically, yes. Spain topped their group, beating Italy, Croatia, drawing with Ireland after already qualifying. In the quarter-finals, they faced France and won 2-0. Semi-finals, Portugal again. Cristiano Ronaldo trying desperately to beat Spain. Penalties. Spain won the shootout. They were in another final. The final was against Italy. Again. And this match was a demolition. Spain played some of the most beautiful football ever seen in a major tournament final. David Silva opened the scoring. Then Jordi Alba made it 2-0. Fernando Torres came off the bench and scored to make it 3-0. Then Juan Mata scored the fourth. 4-0. Spain destroyed Italy in a European Championship final. But here's what was most shocking. Spain played the final without a striker. They played Cesc Fabregas as a false nine, a midfielder playing as a forward. No traditional striker. Just midfielders passing, moving, creating. And they won 4-0. It was Tiki-Taka perfection. 3 major tournaments in a row. Euro 2008, World Cup 2010, Euro 2012. Unprecedented. No team had ever done that. Spain had gone from underachievers to the greatest international dynasty in football history in just 4 years. Xavi and Iniesta were at their peak. Iker Casillas was the best goalkeeper in the world. Sergio Ramos and Gerard Piqué were dominating at the back. David Villa and Fernando Torres scoring goals. The team was perfect. This was Spain's golden generation. This was their moment. They were unstoppable. And then, just 2 years later, it all came crashing down. Brazil 2014. Spain arrived as defending world champions. They'd won the last 3 major tournaments. Surely they'd at least reach the knockout stages, right? Wrong. So wrong. The opening match was against the Netherlands, a rematch of the 2010 World Cup final. Spain expected to control the game with possession, just like they always did. Robin van Persie scored with a brilliant diving header to equalise after Spain took the lead. 1-1 at half-time. Then the second half happened, and it was a massacre. The Netherlands destroyed Spain. Arjen Robben scored. Van Persie scored again. Robben again. Wesley Sneijder. 5-1. The defending world champions were humiliated 5-1 by the team they'd beaten in the final 4 years earlier. But it got worse. Much worse. The second match was against Chile. Spain needed to win to have any chance of advancing. Chile pressed high, ran hard, disrupted Spain's passing. Spain couldn't cope. Chile won 2-0. Spain, the defending world champions, the team that had won 3 tournaments in a row, were eliminated after just 2 matches. Group stage exit. They didn't even make it to the third game with any hope left. Humiliation, disaster. What happened? How did the most dominant team in the world collapse so quickly? Several things. First, the core players were ageing. Xavi was 34, Iniesta was 30, Casillas was 33. They'd played so many matches over those 4 dominant years. They were tired. The legs were gone. Second, Tiki-Taka had been figured out. In 2010, teams didn't know how to deal with Spain's possession. By 2014, they did. Press high, disrupt the passing, hit them on the counter. Chile and the Netherlands executed this perfectly. Third, complacency. Spain thought they could just show up and win with possession. They didn't adapt. They kept trying to play the same way even when it stopped working. The dynasty was over, just like that. 4 years of dominance, then immediate collapse. Spain went from world champions to group stage elimination in 1 tournament. It was shocking. Nobody saw it coming. The fall was as dramatic as the rise. After 2014's disaster, Spain needed to rebuild. Euro 2016 in France was the first test. Could they recover? Not really. Spain made it to the round of 16 and lost 2-0 to Italy. Another early exit. The magic was gone. Tiki-Taka didn't work anymore. The team was in transition. Russia 2018. The World Cup. Spain had a new generation of players. Diego Costa, David Silva still there. Isco, Sergio Ramos. Could they rediscover the magic? The tournament started with drama. 2 days before their opening match, Spain fired their manager, Julen Lopetegui, because he'd agreed to take the Real Madrid job after the World Cup without telling the federation. Chaos. The assistant coach took over. Spain topped their group but then faced Russia in the round of 16. Russia. Not a great team. Spain should win easily, right? Wrong. Spain controlled possession but couldn't score. 1-1 after 120 minutes. Penalties. Spain's shootout curse returned. They lost to Russia on penalties. Defending champions gone in 2014. Round of 16 exit in 2018. The decline continued. Spain was mediocre again. The golden era was over. They'd returned to being just another team. Decent but not special. The underachievers' curse was returning. But something was building. A new generation. Young Spanish players coming through. Pedri, Xavi, Ferran Torres, Ansu Fati. Barcelona was producing talent again. Spain had hope. Euro 2020, played in 2021. Spain made it to the semi-finals. They played beautiful football again. Lost to Italy on penalties in the semi-finals. Progress, but not enough. Then Qatar, 2022. Luis Enrique as manager. A young, exciting squad. Pedri at 19. Xavi at 18. Could this new generation recreate the magic? Spain topped their group, destroying Costa Rica 7-0 in the opener. Beautiful, attacking football. The Tiki-Taka spirit was back. In the round of 16, they beat Morocco. Wait, no. They lost to Morocco on penalties. Another penalty exit. Another disappointment. But there was hope. This young squad showed promise. They played attractive football. Pedri and Xavi looked like the next Xavi and Iniesta. Maybe, Spain could build another great team. So let's talk about Spain's World Cup legacy. 1 World Cup title. 2010. The greatest 4-year dynasty in football history. Euro 2008. World Cup 2010. Euro 2012. Tiki-Taka dominance. Xavi and Iniesta controlling games. Beautiful possession-based football that changed the sport. But before that, 56 years of underachieving. Talent without delivery. Choking in every major tournament. And after that, immediate collapse, group stage exits, penalty disasters. Spain is a story of extremes. Decades of disappointment. Then 4 years of perfection. Then back to mediocrity. The highest of highs and the lowest of lows. The 2010 team, with Xavi, Iniesta, Casillas, Villa, Puyol, is considered one of the greatest international teams ever. That Tiki-Taka style inspired a generation. Barcelona and Spain dominated with it. It was revolutionary. But it was also brief, just 4 years. Then it was over. Can Spain recreate it with Pedri and Xavi? Time will tell. The 2026 World Cup is coming to North America. Spain will have Pedri, Xavi, and a new generation in their prime. Can they build another great team? Can they prove 2010 wasn't a one-time miracle? Or will Spain return to being the underachievers they were for 50 years? Talented, but unable to deliver when it matters? One thing is certain. Spain's story is one of the most dramatic in World Cup history. From chokers, to legends, to disaster. 4 perfect years surrounded by decades of disappointment. Can they do it again? We'll find out in 2026. If you made it this far, thank you for watching Spain's dramatic World Cup journey. If you love stories of underachievers turned legends, check out our videos on the Netherlands, 3 finals, 0 wins, and Portugal, decades of heartbreak. Hit that subscribe button because we're covering all 48 teams before 2026. Drop a comment. Can Spain recreate the Tiki-Taka magic? Or was 2008 to 2012 a once-in-a-lifetime golden era? Let's discuss. Until next time, keep living and breathing football.